Hi everyone! At Scrappy Hour last weekend, Bona gave us a kit to make some lollipop flowers, and I wanted to share what my lollipop flowers came out to be. So here we go. There's a total of 6 of them, and there's different materials being used, so I'll sort of call out what's being used on each one. So this lollipop flower is made out of corrugated cardboard, and so you can sort of see the layers under here. I used the Swiss Dots embossing folder by Cuttlebug, and I ran it through my Big Shot, and then I painted over each layer with the Shell Pink Dabber by Ranger. And then when that dried, I took my aqua pen and I applied some Perlix pigment powder in the color Red Blue in the Series 1 package. And that's what gives, and I'm not sure if you can see it in the lighting, but there's some shimmer on each layer. And then I edged around each layer of the lollipop flower with Tattered Rose crackle paint. So there's my first lollipop flower. And then on the second one, this is also corrugated cardboard. I sort of scrap lifted an idea from Marie at Aloha and Mabuhay. And what I did is I peeled a layer off the corrugated cardboard so you can actually see the corrugation, I guess is what it's called. And then what I did is I took antique bronze crackle paint and I painted over each layer. And then when that dried, I took my aqua pen and some Perlix pigment powder in copper, and I brushed that over each layer. And then I edged each layer of the lollipop flower with antique bronze crackle paint. And then in the center, this actually used to be a clear bling, and I painted it, colored it with caramel alcohol ink. Okay. And then on the third flower, this is chipboard, and it's like a medium to lightweight chipboard. I took my Cuttlebug embossing folder with the little circles, and I ran each layer through the Sizzix Big Shot, so that's where we got the embossed look on each layer. And then what I did is I took the Walnut Stain Distress ink by Ranger and the ink applicator, and I sort of just lightly brushed over so that the embossed layers would pick up the ink. And then what I did is I took some white gold glitter and my 2-way glue pen, and I sort of just colored in little spots of the circle just to add some interest and glitter on there. And then what I did is I took the silver brad in the center and I applied platinum stickles to sort of give it a little bit of sparkle. And then the edging is Walnut Stain Distress Crackle Paint. This is my third flower. My fourth flower is also made of chipboard, and it's actually layered with newspaper, which I applied with Mod Podge. It's a tongue twister. Once the Mod Podge dried, I took a sanding block and I sanded all of the edges. And then I layered on top of the edging the Stream Dabber by Ranger, so it's sort of like a blue tealish color. And then what I did is I took some gold Perlix pigment powder again in my aqua pen, and I brushed over each layer, so that's where you get sort of the shimmer on each layer. And then on the center brad, this was a metal brad, I sanded it down, and that way the paint will take well. So I sanded it down with my sanding block, and then I dabbed it with the Stream Dabber by Ranger. Now for my favorite flowers out of all 6 are the acetate ones. So the material being used here is acetate, and the first thing I did is I took my alcohol ink applicator and I took the cranberry, caramel, and copper alcohol inks, and I colored the acetate, and then I took each piece and ran it through my Big Shot with the French script Cuttlebug folder. And then what I did is I took some StazOn and I lightly rubbed it over each layer so that the French script would sort of catch on some of the ink. And then I applied Versamark on the edging and black embossing powder and heat set it. And I allowed the heat gun to get very close to the edges so it curled. And that's where you get the crinkled shape of the flower, which is completely natural. So I like how that turned out. And then on the center brad, again, it was a plain silver brad. I took my sanding block, sanded it down, and alcohol inked it with copper alcohol ink, the cranberry and the caramel, so it would match the flower. So there's that one. This one was really fun to make, and I love green. So again, this is acetate, and I colored it with alcohol ink in oregano and lettuce. And what I did once the alcohol ink dried is I applied Versamark. And after I applied the Versamark, I took a paintbrush and I took the gold Pearlex pigment powder again, and I brushed it lightly over the Versamark, so it's really sticky. So even though putting the powder over the Versamark, it remains sticky. So what I did is I took some Clear Deep Impression embossing powder, and I dipped each layer in there, and then I heat set it, and then I just allowed it to curl again. I applied the heat gun pretty close to the acetate to allow it to curl, and this is what you get. It's so cool. I like it. I like how this turned out. And then again, a plain silver brad, but I used gold stickles to sort of give it some interest. So anyways, those are my 6 lollipop flowers. Again, Bona, thank you for the project. It was really fun. I've seen these. You've been making these for the longest time, and I've always wondered how you made these. So thanks for sharing your secret with us. But I am actually going to do a tutorial, a video on how I made this one, because I think this one is so neat. I think this one's probably my favorite one. Well, actually, I take it back. These 2 are my favorite ones, the acetate ones. So anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thanks for joining me. Bye.